Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive right into a seriously fascinating question. Does your dog actually see you as their parent? Or is it all just a routine? Like, do they just love you because you're the one handing out the kibble and providing a warm bed?
I know, right? It's kind of an uncomfortable question to start with. It really challenges those baseline assumptions we have about the pets we absolutely adore. We talk to them like they understand every single word we say, but is that love just a habit? Are we just projecting what we want to believe? Well, here's the thing. If you pay close enough attention, your dog has already answered this for you. Not with words, obviously, but through these deeply rooted attachment behaviors. And get this, they are scientifically documented to be remarkably similar to how human children bond with their parents. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Seeking Guidance and Trust. We're going to shift how we look at everyday habits and realize they're actually profound displays of reliance.
Okay, think about what happens when something totally unexpected occurs. Maybe a sudden, crazy loud noise outside, or a stranger approaching way too fast. In that split second, I want you to ignore the situation itself and look at your dog. Specifically, watch their eyes. Notice how, in those tense moments, your dog will almost instantly whip their head around to look directly at your face before they even react to the scary thing.
So there's actually a scientific term for this. It's called social referencing. It's a hugely well-documented behavior in human infants. When a baby isn't sure about something, they don't just instantly panic. They look right at their mom or dad's face to figure out how they should feel. And guess what? Dogs do the exact same thing. It's wild. It literally proves that if you stay calm, they relax. But if you tense up, boom, they become anxious too.
And that brings us to this really beautiful realization. Your dog isn't just reacting to that scary noise out in the world, they're actually reacting to your interpretation of it. In that moment of complete uncertainty, you aren't just the person holding the leash, you are quite literally their ultimate emotional compass.
All right, moving on to the second sign. Think about that one absolute favorite toy your dog has. You know the one. They protect it, they sleep with it, they drag it everywhere, and they probably refuse to share it. But have you ever had that moment where your dog just quietly trots up and drops that highly protected toy right at your feet? No barking, no hyping it up, just dropping it?
In the biology world, this is known as resource sharing. Out in the wild, animals absolutely do not casually give away the things they value. No way. They only share them with the individuals they trust the absolute most. So this simple, quiet little behavior, it's actually a deeply ingrained biological display of ultimate trust.
As humans, we almost always jump to the conclusion that a dropped toy just means, hey, play with me, right? But we kind of need to reframe that based on what the science tells us. When they leave that prized possession at your feet and just sit nearby, it's not a demand for attention. It's connection without expectation. It is a quiet offering of their absolute best thing.
Just think about this phrase for a second. What matters to me, I trust with you. When your pup places their favorite item at your feet, that is exactly what that silent gesture means. It carries this incredible emotional weight that goes so much deeper than just a quick game of fetch. Let's jump into our next section, proximity and emotional anchoring. This explores how that trust translates into where they physically place themselves around you. We've all experienced this incredibly ordinary, everyday moment. You stand up from the couch for literally no reason, maybe just to grab a glass of water, and suddenly, right behind you, tap, 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 there are your dog's footsteps. They aren't following you because it's walk time. They aren't expecting a treat. They are following you simply because, well, because you moved. This is a brilliant illustration of something called proximity monitoring. And again, this is something securely attached human kids do all the time. They don't necessarily need you to actively play with them. They just fundamentally need to know you are nearby. It's especially obvious when a dog actually gives up a super comfortable nap spot just to relocate to the hard floor closer to where you're standing. They ditch their comfy spot for one simple reason: you're there.
People love to complain, even playfully, about having a clingy pet. But when we look at this through the lens of core emotional attachment, your dog really isn't being clingy at all. They are anchored. They are firmly anchored to you through a deep emotional bond. It's not a needy habit, it's a lifeline.
That brings us to sign number 4, sensing your emotions. You don't even have to say a single word. You don't have to be crying or visibly upset. But somehow, on your absolute hardest, most stressful days, your dog just knows. Have you noticed that? They inch a little closer, they sit quietly, and they just choose to stay by your side way longer than normal.
The biology driving this is so cool.
Dogs can actually detect stress hormones, like cortisol, purely through their sense of smell. They are literally smelling the changes in your emotional state before your face even registers it. But here's what makes this so much deeper than just cool biology. It's how they respond. They choose to move toward you. They offer their presence instead of backing away. It perfectly mirrors how a child reacts when they sense their parent is upset. They know something feels wrong, and their instinct is to just stay close.
Okay, so we've covered their waking hours. But to truly grasp the depth of this bond, we have to look at the state of ultimate vulnerability: deep sleep.
Sleep. It's something everyone sees their dog do, but almost no one actually understands what's going on beneath the surface. When a dog falls into deep sleep, their awareness drops completely, their biological defenses lower, and they lose physical control. Because they are so intensely vulnerable in this state, the exact physical position they choose to sleep in is absolutely crucial.
Sure, some dogs might instinctively face the door or curl up tightly in a corner to feel protected. But if your dog consistently sleeps facing you or positions themselves so you're in their line of sight, that is not them consciously trying to impress you. Their body is instinctively choosing the exact spot where it feels the absolute safest. Much like a baby naturally gravitates toward their caregiver to rest, your dog is orienting their most vulnerable self right toward their primary attachment figure.
So, what does this all mean? When we piece together all these subtle behaviors, the big takeaway is undeniably this: you are their safe place.
Your dog is constantly using this hidden language of tiny, subtle behaviors to tell you something incredibly beautiful, without ever having to speak a word. You aren't just a part of their daily routine. You are the one figure their deepest instincts trust completely. You are the presence they rely on. To them, you are the bond that feels exactly like home.
Which leads us to a final thought to wrap up this explainer. Now that you've sort of decoded this hidden language, will you ever be able to look at your dog the exact same way again? I really encourage you to take a second today. Just watch your furry best friend and see which of these amazing, meaningful signs they're showing you the most.